So thank you for joining me for Pilates All Levels. My name is Audra, and today we're going to use a ball. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can fold some pillows or just get rid of the prop entirely. And as always, don't do anything that doesn't feel right in your body. Feel free to take breaks. We're actually going to get started on our knees today. And we're just going to kind of check in. So just start to notice what the angle of your hip bones are doing, right? Are they pointing down, forward, or up? A lot of times, if we're sitting a lot, they're going to point down, or it's going to be a lot of effort to get them to point forward. So let's just check in, see what it's doing to our low back, see what it's doing to our thoracic, see what it's doing to our neck. And bring one foot forward. Good. Now tuck your tailbone just a little bit. And if for any reason this doesn't feel okay on your knee, you can pad your knee. And think about this front foot rooting into the floor and then energetically dragging it back. So you might go forward slightly. We're trying to feel a little stretch through the front of the hip. And make sure that the ribs are drawing down. The top fibers of our psoas actually attach to our bottom ribs. So if it's tight, it could be pulling your rib cage into that kind of open position. How's that feeling, everybody? Pretty okay? Good. Now you're going to press your back foot into the floor, submaximally, only like 10 to 20% of your ability, for 5. Everybody feel that light up? 3, 2, big inhale. Big exhale, stop pressing. See about getting maybe a little bit more. Good. Now, this might be where you stay. Or you can add to it. Same arm as back leg, you're gonna reach up and over, letting that hip kind of slide, switch arms. Yeah, there you go. And then back. Is that more exciting with the arm switch? Yeah. Good. Nice job, everybody. Give me just a couple more. And 2. Make sure you're breathing into your side. Last one, and we hold. Now that opposite arm can reach behind you if it feels better, and you can lift your collarbones to the sky slightly. 2 more breaths. Come out of that, and now we're getting a quad stretch. So instead of just hip, we're gonna get quad. Lean forward, see if you can grab your foot or ankle. If that's not possible for you, you can also prop your foot onto your ball or a couch, okay? So we're just gonna see how that feels. Yeah. Finding that lift of your abs. So a lot of times when we stretch, we try to be here. This is still shortening the distance between our origin and insertion, so we're getting less stretch. So I still want you to pull everything in and up. Now, press into the hand or the ball for 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale, exhale. And just see if your body can relax into the stretch a little. If you are holding on to it, let go and see if you can keep it there. 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower everything down. Now coming back onto our knees, just see if one side now feels different than the other, right? We get to do the other side. So find that little tuck of your tailbone. Good. Pressing down into that front foot, energetically drag that heel back. Hello. Good. And just see how this feels. So keeping the ribs closed, think of your whole body moving forward. Yeah. I actually think you should sneak your foot a little bit farther forward for me. Yeah. And then bring your knee forward more. No, sorry, the front knee. Yeah. Yeah. And then tuck here. Yeah. Yeah. Just like that. Good. Feel a little bit more. Good. Yeah. And then we can press our foot down for 5, 4. I see that 1,000-yard stare happening. It'll feel good when you're done. 2, and inhale. Exhale. And relax. Now, if it's applicable, same arm as back leg, we reach it up and over. Oh, still trying to breathe into that area and back. And then up and over. Trying to allow your intercostals to expand. If you're like, what are intercostals, Audra? They're the muscles in between your ribs. Last 2. Last one, and we get to hold. For 4, 3, 2, 1. And we get that quad. So if you want, use the ball. If not, you can use your hand, making sure that you are still allowing everything to pull in and up as opposed to spilling forward. Whether that foot is on the ball or not is fine. Whatever your body needs today is perfect. Then gently press your foot either into your hand or the ball. For 3, 2, big inhale. Exhale, relax. See if you can get a little baby bit more stretch. And then if you have it in your hand, see if you can let go and keep the foot there. Hamstring talking? Yeah. Slowly let it lower. We're just gonna see how everything feels now. Hopefully a little bit better, a little less like forced or braced. Now we're taking the ball, we're gonna pop it behind us. We're gonna sit down. Bring your thoracic spine, so your rib cage, onto the ball, hands behind your head, and just start to let your head be heavy, coming into a little extension over the ball. On your exhale, think about sinking the belly button down, closing the ribs, and trying to push the ball away from you slightly, and then slowly extend. So as we slowly extend, imagine that there is a lot of weight trying to pull you down, and you're resisting it. So we're still drawing deep from those abdominals. Couple more. To allowing your chin to gently nod so you can lengthen through the back of your neck. Now, even though we're working on the sagittal plane here, as opposed to the transverse plane, we're still gonna get those obliques active if we're breathing, allowing the ribs to draw together, and then we can press one foot into the floor, float the other leg to tabletop. Just curling straight towards it. Slowly extend, push that toe, ball, heel down into the ground. Exhale, curl forward, float the other leg up. So floating the leg from the thigh as opposed to from the knee. Keep your chin gently nodded so we're not hyperextending through the neck, right? So a little lift. Good. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, as we do this, notice if you need to be closer or farther away to the ball, right? More challenging is having the ball a little lower on your back, especially if you still really sink into it. And then imagine taking a couple pounds of your weight off the ball as you lift. A little easier is being closer to the ball and using it for support, right? Same prop, different intentions. And everybody's body is different, and everybody's body is going to be different every day. So don't listen to what your body could do yesterday. Listen to what it can do today and what its needs are today. Good. 2 more. See if both sides can feel similar. So resisting gravity on the way down, using your breath to control the move on the way up. Good. Now bring your hands forward. Good. Reach your fingertips even more and then switch your feet. If you need, you can hold on to the back of your thighs. No problem. Good. Keeping your chin gently nodded. Think of that nice lat connection to your obliques, trying not to shift. So if you can't do this without your body jerking, bring the foot down and then up. Good. 2 more. And it could be the position that you have near the ball. Last one each side. Hands behind your head, upper back extension. How do your abs feel? Already warm? Same, yeah. Go ahead, come all the way back up. Press your hands into an imaginary wall and come up a little higher. We're gonna press into our shins, shoulders draw down, and I want you to roll your sits bones forward a little bit. So it should be easier to sit upright. So if we're like behind our tailbone, it's really hard to sit up. So roll forward, shoulders down, lengthen through the crown of your head. Good. Nancy, bring your feet forward more. More. Now lean forward more. There you go. Now hands come forward, shoulder blades draw down your back. And if you've ever used the springs on the springboard or the reformer, same concept. We're actually going to push down into our knees from our armpits. So reaching your arms forward, shoulders draw down. Think about lat and serratus and ab as you push down. We are closing our kinetic chain. Everybody feel a little extra ab work? Great. Now slide back half an inch, hold. Drawing deep from your abdominals. Everybody feel a little bit more core work? Great. So one thing our obliques do is they counter rotate us. So we're going to let one arm go out to the side, keep pressing down into that front arm and back. Press down, 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 other side. Don't let your torso move, even though it might want to. And how does that feel one side versus the other, right? Feel where the bottom part of your pelvis is. Feel where your feet are, feel where your knees are. And notice if on one side, something wants to shift, right? 2 more. And notice if one side is more exciting than the other. Good. Reaching that hand far away from you. By the way, the people behind me, I'm still watching you guys in case you were wondering. I'm just watching in the mirror. Yeah. And last one. Nice. And then hands can come onto your shins, dive forward, restack. Nice. All right, we're going to curl back until we touch the ball. Hands can remain forward for now. If it doesn't feel good, you need a hand behind your head, it's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to take one hand to the other. Now notice how my fingertips are not together. That's because I just moved from my shoulders. Now think about moving from your torso and see if you can really high five yourself. Yeah, good. Now inhale, exhale, imagine pushing your fingertips into an imaginary surface and hovering just half of your torso weight off the ball. And then come back to center. First one, just move from your arm. And then inhale, exhale, rotate. Good. Inhale, exhale, push your fingertips forward slightly and hold. Try to keep the knees still, right? So we're not letting the pelvis shift as much as letting the rib cage rotate. And open. And again. Good, everybody. Nancy, yeah, there you go. And open. Hold. Everybody doing good? Good. Couple more. The hard part is the hold, isn't it? Yeah. You're welcome. Make sure you hold it, you guys. So open, rotate, hold, hold, hold. Other side. Last one. And we hold, hold, hold. Hands come behind your head. Extend over the ball. Nod your chin, hollow out, roll up. And then take the prop, we're popping it between our knees. Hands behind your thighs. Shoulders draw down. Now curl your tailbone towards your face, lengthening until maybe your arms straighten, maybe they don't. Dive forward, restack without gripping through your spine. So if you find you're like, oh, my back, rock forward more, lift your ears, just draw the shoulders down rather than retracting and see if that is a better, easier upright position. Curl, and then back. Now maybe this is where you are today, in which case, great. Maybe you're excited about not using your arms, in which case, also great. You curl, and then as you come up, you should widen through your arms. Yeah. And then curl, and then reach your fingertips away. You can even flip your palms up if that's a better position for your body. Good. Nice job, you guys. Now, if you go onto your sacrum, that's great. Just try not to go past the point that you can control. Now, where do you know where that is? Well, first you have to find it, right? So if you can control it here, but here you don't, so pause the next time, right? We have two more. Think about the abs drawing back, the hip bones rolling back, squeezing your prop. Good. Last one like this. Good. Beautiful. We're rolling it back this time, all the way down. Let your arms be wide. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Lift up onto your toes. Think about closing your ribs, lengthening through both sits bones. Let your knees start to go a little bit to one side. Now, we're not necessarily trying to get them all the way down. So I want those ribs still connected. Inhale. Exhale, bring your attention to your waistline to drag the legs back. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. Drag it back. Now, one more each way. And if this is where you are today, great, right? If your back just needs a little bit of rotation and stretching, you can look the opposite direction, you can hold it. If you're like, I would really like a little bit of extra core today, float your legs to tabletop, squeeze the ball as if you're trying to pop a balloon, squeeze your heels together, close your ribs, lift one hip, hold. Keeping that opposite shoulder down, and then drag it back. Other side. We hold, and then drag it back. As we do this, think about your sacrum gently pushing into the mat to keep that transverse abdominis activation. Couple more. Good. Nice job, everybody. Hold, Feel where you feel the stretch, feel where you feel the contraction, just so you know, right? Last one. Come back to center. Bring your feet down. Now, we're going to keep squeezing the ball. We're going to let your knees go to one side until you can roll onto your side. Now, if you need a pillow, you can take the ball, pop it underneath you, or you can use your hand. Otherwise, we're going to take your opposite hand, take it up and over, get a nice upper back twist, and then bring it back to center. And then again, letting it open, still trying not to arch the back to get there, but sink the ribs, let them move. 2 more on this side. This should feel pretty good. Last one on this side. Hold. Now just drag the legs back, find that stationary position, then let the knees go over and we bring that arm with us. Now we allow it to come up and over, hold, breathe. And then we can bring it back. So sometimes we did. Yeah, when we took the knees up and over. Yeah. Sometimes we can't build strength unless we have enough range of motion to be able to go into a fuller range of motion. Last one. Hold, breathe, and drag the knees back. Go ahead, bring your arms to your side, and you can flip your palms down as long as it's not causing an internal rotation at your upper arm bone. If you're already kind of internally rotated, try palms up for 1 or 2 of these. On your exhale, hug your hip bones, ribs toward your belly button. Imprint your spine a little bit so you're in that posterior tilt. Push your feet and hands into the floor. Come into your first bridge. Now just check in with that first bridge. Make sure the weight is not on your neck, but on your shoulders, and that you're still in that gentle posterior tilt. So we're not just driving the ribs up, right? And then melt on your way down. So think of the hip flexor and quad stretch we did earlier, right? Similar move or similar position of the thigh, right? Still activating that back of your leg. 2 more. Now, if you feel pain in your back when you bridge, check in with a few things. Are you arching? Are your ribs popping? Or are you just squeezing your butt for dear life, right? So if you're feeling any sort of pinching with any of that, see if a small micro adjustment can change it. So everybody come up and just check in, right? Check in with your ribs, check in with your hips, check in with your glutes. And then melt all the way through your throat, your sternum, your low back, your sacrum. Go ahead, bring your hands behind your head, spiraling your elbows forward, shoulder blades drawing down your back. Inhale. Exhale, curl forward as if you're curling up and over a beach ball. And hold. Good. Squeeze your prop a little bit. Good. And then relax the prop a little. So small little squeeze. Making sure you feel the whole of the inner thigh. We have 4, 3, 2, hold. Now squeeze just with one of your thighs. So one of them is more stabilizing and then one is squeezing. Come back, other side. So one squeezes, one stabilizes, one squeezes, one stabilizes. Now, we're going to add rotation. So the side that is squeezing, you're going to rotate towards that side. Come back to center. Switch. Now, if you can maintain that chest elevation as you go back and forth, great. If you need a break in between, also great. Making sure that your sits bones are pointing away from you like car headlights or arrows, right? We want them to reach the same distance. If you have a tendency to hike one of your hips, instead of trying to get that hip in place, just think of that sit bone reaching a tiny bit longer. We have one more each side. Come back to center, head comes down. Grab your prop. It's going to be at the heel of your hands. Press one foot into the floor, float your other leg to tabletop. Now imagine the leg that's at tabletop, imagine it's against a wall and you're just going to gently push into the wall so the back line of your leg kicks on. Now with the heel of your hands, using your abs, push into the ball. Now, if your leg is really far away, you might choose to bring it in so you can have a more relaxed shoulder position, but depending on the length of your arms, you might not need to. Everybody feel that little abdominal connection? Great, let's do that other side. Think about the ribs gently closing. We are trying to find that lat and serratus because they connect to our obliques. Good. Now, you can stick with marching back and forth if that works for you. You can also bring both legs to tabletop and reach one knee away, tapping that toe on the ground. Imagine slowly bringing it back and then switching. Good, everybody. Really focusing on breathing here. So yes, our abs should be working. One way that they can work efficiently is if you let your rib cage expand three-dimensionally and contract three-dimensionally. So think of a soda can, right? The top of the can is your diaphragm. The bottom of the can is your pelvic floor. And the sides of the can are your transverse abdominis and obliques, okay? Everything needs to move equally when it expands and contracts to keep the even pressure of the can. Now, if you would like to challenge yourself, you can come into a chest lift. And we're going to take the same side hand as leg and press it into the ball. Reach one leg away. Let it fold in. Once again, we're imagining pushing into a wall. If reaching it far away is too much, tap it. Okay, you can always do both. 3. Think about that leg being a lever. It's actually going to help lift you up. 2. How's everybody doing? Good. Now keep the ball against the same knee. All we're doing is switching hands. Opposite hand now is on the ball. And you just switch. Yep. And then you reach. And this should just feel a little different. Same move, slight change of torso angle and hand, different move, right? We have 4. Good. 3, imagine pushing into one of those vintage couches that's so heavy. 2. Last one. Hug everything in. Guess what? Wouldn't be right if we didn't do the other side. You guys excited? Yeah. Okay. Same side, hand as leg, right? And you can tap or push, right? Whatever feels best for you and your body today. Making sure that it's coming from your core and not your neck and shoulders, right? Shoulder has to be a little active, but it shouldn't be 110%. We have 3 more. And 2. Last one. Keep the ball right where it is. Switch hands. That's it. Try to keep both hips down on the floor. Rotation coming from that rib cage. 4 more. 3, 2. Slow and steady wins the race. Last 1. Both feet down. Set the prop to the side. Nice job. Roll out your wrists. You can sway your knees from side to side. Now, flick your hands like you're trying to flick water at somebody. Working those extensors for a second. And then curl the wrists down like little kitty cat paws. And then up. Curl down and up. Now, hands on your hip bones for a second. With the knees bent, come into your imprint and then neutral. Now extend your legs and see if you can still imprint and then neutral. If you are like, well, now I can't imprint, that could potentially mean that maybe your hip flexors are still a little tight. Bend your knees 1/4 of an inch and see if you can imprint a little bit better. If you can, it's okay, at least for the first few, to keep your knees slightly bent. Hands to the sky, arm bones relax down. Imagine you have a 20-pound weight in your hands and gravity is trying to pull it down, but you're trying to stabilize from your low abs here. Now inhale, exhale, roll forward. Good. Now, at the top, we have options. If you can't reach your toes easily, no problem. Reach your shins. Think about pulling your shoulders down your back, lifting your ribs. If you can reach your feet, also push your feet into your hands. And still lifting those ribs, then let go, curl all the way, slow and steady. Slowly let those arms come up, and then exhale, roll forward. Good. Now, let's talk about it. If you have trouble getting up, and you either only feel your hip flexors, or you have to do this move, right? That's bracing using momentum. Let's talk through what we can do. One is putting a pad behind you, right? One, use a leg to help you up, right? Be slow and gentle, right? Maybe your body needs a little assist today. Yeah, that looked great. Yeah, did that feel better? Good. If you use the pad under the back, all that's doing is bringing the floor to you, right? If you use your leg, all that's doing is make the move suit your body. And all the way up. We're gonna roll those hip bones forward again. And we're rooting down. If you need to bend your knees, it's fine. If you need to pad yourself so you're upright a little, that's fine, okay? You can have your arms out to the side or here. We're just getting a little bit of spinal rotation. So imagine like we're on the floor and we rotate, hold for a second, see if you can just get a little bit more length through your whole spine and back to center. That's it. And again, so notice if you tend to only get elevation through one of your vertebrae, right? See if we can get everything to move together as opposed to stealing from one. Nancy, roll forward onto your sits bones a little bit more. Yeah, and then lift your collarbones. Boom. So just got really excited there. It was great. Last one. Feet together, knees apart, and just relax over your legs. And round your back a little and then flatten your back slightly. Two more. Good. And you can always come into a lying down figure four stretch or a seated figure four stretch. We're just going to get a little stretch of the glute. So you can flex your foot or point your toe. Either way, just try to keep a little bit of structure through your ankle. And then think of a backwards plank. You're going to push into the floor to lift your chest and breathe. And you can start to take the knees into a little windshield wiper if that feels good. Good. Two. Last one. Other side. So once again, if you want to lie down, that's fine. Otherwise, make sure we're not hanging out here. We are pushing the floor away. Good. When you feel a spot that feels exciting, you hang out and breathe. Good. One more. Good. And then come on to hands and knees. All right. So on our hands, we're going to bring our shoulders directly over our wrists. We're going to push in a little bit more with the mound of our pointer finger to help offload our wrists. And then think about gently spiraling your shoulder blades, and then think of pulling your hands apart slightly so your shoulders are active. Okay. Belly button draws in, but you don't necessarily have to change the shape of your spine. Slide one foot out, push it down into the ground. That's it. Think about that ankle getting a little bit of dorsiflexion or flexion, right? And then other side. Good. Back and forth. Now, if for any reason, any sort of bird dog doesn't feel great for you, you can always do it against a wall standing. Now, if this feels good, great, stick with this. If this feels good, but you want to up level it, I want you to just barely hover your foot over the floor, just like a couple inches, and then try to imagine pushing it into a wall before you straighten your knee. So we're trying to get a little bit of glute activation, hamstring activation, and a little tiny bit of hip extension before knee extension. Good. Few more. Good. And 2. Last one. Now, if you're here, stick with this. If you are ready for front support, come into front support. You slide one foot out, push down into the ground, other leg comes to meet it, pulling that belly button in and up. And then you fold one knee, reach it back. Other side, we're trying to keep the hips steady, right? So imagine that you have a full cup of coffee or a glass of wine, whatever is more precious to you, resting on your hips. If you're at home, you can actually try it. 2 more. Last one, each side. Knees down. Press yourself into that rest position. Rolling out your wrists. Awesome job. Go ahead, bring your hands up and over to one side. Push your hips away. Breathe into the side of your back. And then other side. Go ahead. We're going to come onto our side, you guys. So if you have your prop, you can always, always, always use it as a little pillow. Now, check in. Are your bottom ribs sinking into the ground? Is your top hip pulling towards your face? Probably, because gravity is telling you to chill. So what we're going to think about is widening through our sits bones, letting that hip lengthen away from us, and lift the ribs slightly. So this is oblique as well as transverse abdominis. Imagine that I want to slide a sheet of paper under you, and you're going to let me, okay? That bottom leg can be bent or it can be straight, okay? It's up to you, whatever feels good for your body today. Take that top knee and push the foot away. Good. And then allow the knee to fold in and then push the foot away. If you've ever used the reformer, right, and you've done sleeper on the reformer, this is the same pattern, but it's an open chain. So one thing you should do is imagine that your foot is on the foot bar and you are using the resistance of the springs to get that activation, okay? 3, 2, good. Last one, let's hold it out. Now imagine that that heel is against a wall. You're just going to gently push the heel back into the wall. And again, boom. So it's a tiny little move, trying not to lock out through your knees. Good. And Nancy, keep your ears reaching that way. Don't look at your feet. Look at the back of her head. Look at the wall instead. Move your head. 2, hold it back. Now paintbrush that foot and then squeegee it down. So imagine that the wall you are paintbrushing up, you have to reach a little bit farther away to get to the top, right? So if we lift the foot straight up, look at what's happening to my spine, right? So we want to keep that elevation, pushing the foot away, trying not to let the TFL or QL take over. So your foot actually won't get that high. If you have it behind you slightly and are reaching it away, Stephanie, rotate your hip bone forward slightly. Yeah, bring your heel back a tiny bit. Yeah, and actually I want you to do the same thing. I want your heel to come back behind you. A little bit more, there, abs on. Yeah, right there. Do you feel how that's a little bit more glute? Good. 2. Last one. Guess what? Other side. Everybody feel a little bit of that glutes connection, a little bit of that core connection? Great. I'm very pleased, you guys. All right, so once again, that bottom leg can be bent or it can be extended. We're trying to lengthen that top hip away, lift that bottom oblique, and then bring that leg to hip height. And we bend it in. We push into that imaginary surface to reach it away. And then let the thigh bone fold in the socket freely. So as we allow the thigh bone to fold freely in the socket, we're trying not to tuck our tailbone. And as the leg goes away, we're trying not to extend for a few reasons. One of them is it's important to be able to move your hip bone in the or your thigh bone in the socket without anything else moving, right? Couple more here. You can always have that hand on your hip to guide you or on the floor for support. 2. Last one. Now imagine it's against the wall, push it back a little. And again. Still hugging your obliques and transverse abdominis in and up. You're 5. And it's just back, not up, back, only back. Just behind you 1/2 inch, back to just center. Behind you 1/2 inch, 2. Now hold it back. Back farther, Nancy. Good. And then brush it up. Push your foot away. Yeah, there you go. And then down. So don't let the hip hike. All right. Take your hand, place it on your hip. Push your hip towards there. Keep it there. Don't let it push into your hand, because you're lifting from here. Yeah, better. Do you feel how the bottom is now active a little bit more? Good. Foot paintbrushes up and down. 3, 2. Last one. Good. We're going to come onto our stomach. Yay. Now, let your hands make a little triangle underneath your forehead and just kind of feel where your body is today, right? Notice if one hip is heavier than the other or one rib is, and reach your feet away from you, reach your sits bones away from you. Now, this is a really specific move we're going to do to start. It's to bypass your erectors. So if you feel your back doing a lot of work, you might need to take it down a notch, okay? Bring your hands and elbows near your shoulders in a T or goalpost position. Belly button gently hugs up. Press your hands and elbows into the ground to lift you a little bit. Elbows have to be down too. Think about pulling the elbows and hands back toward your feet so you just lengthen your ears forward. Now, think about your glutes gently activating. Maybe your feet lift, maybe they do not. Inhale. Exhale, keep the structural stability of your spine as you float your arms up. Hold. Good, and come back down. Let's do that again. We are pressing down, pulling back to lengthen. Glutes gently activate. Then you lift your arms. If you lift with your arms elevated, you are using your erectors, which is not bad, but our multifidus muscles, our tiny little stabilizers, tend to let the erectors do all the work if the erectors can. So we are trying to bypass them to start to get the tiny muscles on. So you have to keep pressing down to lift up. Now, let's just for fun, try it where you lift up and your hands float with you. Do you feel the difference? Yeah. So do you feel your bigger muscles working harder? Right, I feel my like ropey sausage muscles of my back doing all the work, but that could also just be me, right? So if you don't feel much difference, you can elevate with your hands up. If you do feel a difference, float them up once you get there, and then see about lifting just a tiny bit higher, and then back down, okay? Press. Good. Last one, think about really lengthening through the crown of your head rather than lifting up high. So it's like you're being shot out of a cannon. Yeah, and back down. Hands forward, suction cup them to the ground. Drag them down, lengthen through the crown of your head. Float your legs up. And we just start to use those glutes. Do a swimming motion through our legs, yeah. Now, feel if you're starting to really rock or not. The hands are there for support. Now, you can do opposite arm and leg, still pressing down to get that lat in effect. But now, if you want, you can do both. But if you start hitting some rocky waves, bring it back. We're trying to stabilize. We're not letting our shoulders rock back and forth. We're trying not to let the hips rock back and forth. And then press yourself into a rest position. It's harder to not rock back and forth, right? And breathe. Is it necessary, and hands up and over to one side. Is it necessarily bad to rock back and forth? No. That's that's your body's strategy. Other side. However, we should also be able to see what the strategy is and tell it, hey buddy, maybe you don't need to do this thing, right? Now go ahead, come back to center, slide your arms into this little Sphinx position. One hand either behind your neck or on your shoulder. Think about widening through your collarbones, widen through your elbow. It's not a retraction, it's like you're pushing someone away. Now keep that as you straighten your arm, get a little active rotation, slowly lower down. Now you can do this with that arm bent, or you can straighten it to get rotation and extension. Yeah, 2 more. Last one. As we do this, see if you can lighten a little bit of the force the hand has to have. Other side. Out wide, rotate. The ability to rotate through our thoracic spine is really important, you guys, because that thoracic spine is meant to rotate 40 degrees. Whereas our lumbar spine is only meant to rotate about 10 to 15. Yeah. Yeah. So when we're walking, if we're not rotating through our thoracic, guess where we're rotating from? Lumbar. Good. Come all the way up. As you're in your downward dog, start pedaling through your feet. What's interesting is we tend to especially rotate through L4, L5, and L5, S1, which guess where disc issues tend to occur the most? L4, L5, L5, S1. It's just interesting. Could it be from the added rotation that just causes more wear and tear? Possibly. Could it be from other things? Absolutely. Good, go ahead, come all the way up. We're gonna do a little bit of balance work, you guys. So coming to standing, imagine you're about to walk a tightrope. Now, if you're on the squishy mat, great, it's added fun. If you're not, great. Now first, while you're letting it happen, let your feet move. right? Feel that they're allowed to pronate and supinate. That's a normal, natural position for them. They're supposed to do both. Now, squeeze your inner thighs together. And then maybe try closing one or both eyes. And breathe. First line of defense, if you need to, is open your eyes, right? Last breath. And then we get to do the other side. Now, the good news is one side might feel vastly different than the other, which means that this might be your easier side. Could also be your more exciting side, right? But remember, it's okay to be the willow tree. You don't have to be the oak tree. Stable doesn't mean immobile. Couple breaths. And open your eyes. Go ahead, flip your palms up, open your collarbones to the sky. Relax down, slide your shoulders to your ears, straight down. Give yourselves a round of applause. Nice work today. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys did so great. I'll see you soon.